Hello, everybody. Welcome to a second episode of Katie's Corner. I've got some of my awesome friends from We the People here, and we are going to be talking about mental health because today is World Mental Health Day. We got Andrea, we've got Marley, and we got Momo. We got representation from all over. I'm sure Jazzy will be here because she's always here with us. So, to kick off Mental Health Day, this was on the Today Show this morning.
Important event now. Today is World Mental Health Day, and Carson this morning is at Spring Studios here in New York, helping out with Project Healthy Minds' 4th annual festival. He serves, of course, on the nonprofit's board of directors. Hi, Carson. Good morning.
Hi guys, good morning. Yeah, we're doing a little yoga early this morning as we kick off World Mental Health Day. And so this is the busy season for those of us in the trenches trying to raise awareness for mental health. Last night was our prom here at this location in New York City, and it was a great night. Big shout out to my Today Show family, so many of you guys getting out late. I know you don't get to get out much at night, but you were showing up for me and for mental health. It was appreciated. My family. We had great honorees last night. Of course, Duke and Duchess of Sussex was a big headline as they were getting an award for their partnership with Project Healthy Minds and all the great work that they've been doing over the years. So
they do a lot of good
stuff.
That was
last night. It was a
health.
late night. We raised a lot of money, much needed, for this cause of mental health, which is, the numbers are staggering. 65 million Americans, 3 times that of cancer, will be diagnosed with a mental health condition this year. And so we've got a lot of work to do. And we've got great men like Phil Shermer here as our fearless leader of Project Healthy Minds. Phil, come on in here, bud. Today, World Mental Health Day. This has been a day for a while, but now this festival that we've created and started, why was it so important?
Yeah, well, World Mental Health Day has been around for decades, but there was no flagship in-person event. In the way that you have Pride Parade for LGBTQ plus rights or Race for the Cure for breast cancer, our view was there needs to be a flagship convening for the community for World Mental Health Day.
And so today we've got some.
Oh, we got 3 viewers
going on. What are some of the programming aspects?
Welcome.
Of
Join
the
the comments.
Festival, World Mental Health Day.
Yeah, well, we've got a bunch of fitness programming all day. Kelsey Wells,
Thank you,
Kendall
Andrea.
Toole, whole set of amazing fitness influencers. We've got a sound bath meditation pillar, and then we've got a bunch of great headliners, the Duke and Duchess, Jonathan Haidt, the author of The Anxious Generation, Deepak Chopra, Rich Kleiman. So we're excited for
our old buddy Katie Kirk. I know is doing something for us today too, which is great.
Sophia Bush.
Yeah, we should thank. Last night we had our big prom night. I know it was a big success. It was a lot of work for our team.
Yep, that's Carson Daly.
But Lucas Graham was great. The music.
Yep, Alexander Stewart. Yeah, I mean, how about that opening song?
Yeah,
if you only
it was beautiful. When we talk about this on this day, this fight that we're doing to raise awareness, break the stigma of mental health, what is your sort of 30 seconds of where we're at? The awareness seems to be out there. We see it now in entertainment. I see it when I watch an episode of Ted Lasso. I feel the aspects of mental health listening to Billie Eilish. When I talk to pro athletes now, they're very vocal about it. Where are we in this fight?
Yeah, well, I think we're in the middle of a shift from awareness to action. And, one of the things that we said last night was that despair is not destiny, but the key is expanding access to care. And while have made great progress so far, 400,000 Americans that we've gotten to mental health care, the next 10 years, we're trying to get 10 million more Americans to care. And so that's the future.
You're doing some great work. Project Healthy Minds, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You can check out all the digital marketplace tool that we have available. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Love
we
what
miss
you're
you.
doing.
Thanks for the time today.
No, love what you're doing,
Awesome.
Carson.
Great job.
What show was he on that he was famous for?
MTV?
Yeah, was it Behind the Music?
I can't remember. I just know he was on MTV.
Yeah.
Carson Daly. Yeah.
Carson Daly.
Yeah.
But he got old. Just saying.
And he did.
TRL. Thank you, Taylor. TRL. Got it.
Oh, TRL, yeah.
But, and it's good that they're doing stuff like this to just raise awareness for mental health, because even in 2025, people still just think that it's either all in your head or no big deal, and it gets to be it gets to be frustrating. I know it is for me. I don't know, what about you guys?
Yeah, it's frustrating. The stigma's still there. People don't take it seriously, and they feel like if you do have a mental health illness, that they think about people that they see, that are unhoused, walking the streets, talking to themselves or whatever. But there's a lot of things that are happening mentally, emotionally to people. It's not that extreme. And I feel like anybody, I feel because of the way that America perceives mental illness, um, just the stigma exists, and that keeps people away who don't have a diagnosis away from going to therapy, because everybody should, like, you go to the doctor, you go to the dentist. I think everybody should go to a therapist.
Jazzy brings up a good question here. Where do you ever feel so stressed to the point where you just go numb? I had a lot of moments like that for a long time, especially in like high school and college, where I would just feel to the point of like numbness and having no feeling, that the only time I felt like I could feel was when I was playing my instrument.
Mm.
Because that was like the only time I could try to even harness some points of emotion. And it's scary when you feel like that. And you just feel like you're literally a walking zombie in
Yeah.
the world. And it's also important to recognize those feelings too, and like to just, because when you're feeling like that, you don't want to talk to anybody. You just want to block out everyone and everything.
Isolate yourself. Yeah. An a similar experience with numbness, and able to feel doing art. Like, I'm a visual artist, and that helped a lot. Get out of my head, be in the moment,
Hmm.
and express myself visually. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I can understand that. And also, as far as like, no, I had a issue. I would go numb because I didn't understand my feelings. Like, I
Hmm.
know what feelings were, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A problem identifying it, and I worked through that with my therapist. So
Hi, Keisha.
hi, Keisha.
Yeah, and like I know for me, um, one of the things I want to do here tonight is have us share some of our stuff with mental health. And when one of you mentioned about like celebrities, and you see celebrities and you're like, hey, I have this and so does this person. So one of my things, so with my mental health, I have anxiety, depression, PTSD, um, insomnia, which can be considered mental health just because you can't sleep and stuff. And then for me, the big one that hit me hard was borderline personality disorder. And I was diagnosed with that when I was like 26. And that's something that really scared me for a long time, because I didn't know many people, if any, that had it. And then when I heard about celebrities that had it, one of them was Britney Spears. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to shave my head and like just like go somewhere. And when I would tell some people about it, especially, in my own family, I would get treated differently because I don't want to, hide if something is wrong. But, you say stuff like that, especially when it comes to personality, people start to like, they'll back up and they'll shy away from you and be like, I don't know about that. And the other thing about borderline is it often gets misdiagnosed as bipolar because it has a lot to do with your mood and stuff. And there's also no medication for it. It's all about therapy and just trying to figure out your emotions and how you feel, what your triggers are, and just how to cope. And it's taken me a long time, but I have a very supportive husband who, hello, Dally Oops, we got another one here. Like, I have a very supportive husband where my mental health journey started when I was about 23. I was in graduate school. We weren't married yet, we were engaged. And I was just struggling. Struggle bus. I was a female I was with a bunch of other, like, I was the only female in my area. And so I had all these guys constantly trying to bring me down and make me feel like crap. And there were days I wouldn't even get out of bed. And my husband was like, I love you, but we gotta figure out what's going on. This isn't you. And so, like, just figuring out psychiatrists and therapy and medication, and God love him. He stood by my side the whole time, but it's scary. And you need, even if it's just one person, that support system is everything.
Mhm.
And you can't be afraid to ask for help, because it's okay to ask for help. It really is.
It's healthy to ask for help.
It is. Yeah, for sure. But that's just a little bit about like my story and stuff. And I take a lot of medicines. I take a couple in the morning, I take a bunch at night. But you know what? I sleep. I regulate my emotions. I can actually like explain why I'm feeling a certain way. And if I need to take some pills for that, that's fine. Because it's the best I've felt. Probably these last couple years is the best I've felt ever in my life. So
That's so
yeah.
great.
I like this hashtag MedGang. Yes.
Well, I wanted to say that mental illness does not always look the same to everybody. Sometimes people have outbursts, they just might start just yelling out. Um, some people might just start crying, when they have mental illness. You know how you see sometimes people are homeless, and the people that are homeless sometimes they might be sitting out on corners somewhere, and people that don't understand mental illness will come and beat them up. I don't know if you know about that, and that they will just come and beat you on the street, in which I've never understood why you beat up a homeless person, because most of the people that are homeless do suffer from some type of mental disorder,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a story about one of my sons. He's passed away now, and he suffered from mental illness, and so he had ordered some pizza. So the pizza man was finally coming, and he was so excited to see the pizza man coming that he started running towards the pizza guy to give him the money to pay for the pizza. But what ended up happening was the pizza guy thought he was about to get robbed, and he scared him, and he ran away. He ran away. He didn't even deliver the pizza.
Oh, wow.
So mental illness looks different to everybody. You can't go by the ones that hide in silence. You know, you can say what's wrong, but the ones that are laughing, like they say, laughing, having outbursts, or even another thing about mental illness, people with mental illness, they might tend to drink a lot. They might be alcoholics. They might be drug abusers. There's a lot of signs of mental illness that people just don't identify with.
I thoroughly believe that addiction's a mental illness. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that have addictions have also dealt with a lot of like past traumas and stuff. Oh, May Money's here. Yeah. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hi,
Happy
surprise.
birthday.
So, but yeah, a lot of
Hey,
people.
Money, looking beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. I've been having the most wonderful day. I really have.
Oh,
Hey, y'all. It's May Money's birthday. What's your happy birthday?
Oh, happy birthday.
Glowing birthday. Did you get the 170 days?
Well, and my birthday is tomorrow, so
Okay, well,
I haven't gotten all my gifts, but I'm sorry, I did not mean to bulldoze y'all. But but I did get my Captain Catherine Janeway shirt.
oh,
Nice.
I got the Sims 2 and on PS2, and I got a nice new watch. So those are
oh, God love you. I wanted to answer one. Dolly Oops was saying, I wonder if it's hereditary.
It is.
Hereditary,
It
and
can
it
be,
is.
Yes.
It's passed down through generations. And
Because
sometimes medicines work, sometimes treatment work. A lot of people that end up in prison
Mhm.
suffer from mental illness.
It's true.
absolutely. And we don't have the proper ways to take care of people, because when they get into jail and then get off of drugs or any type of drug, like you have to have a proper withdrawal, especially with drugs like heroin and meth, and like it's not just you're off. you have to have proper like what's the word I'm looking for?
Kind of like a dosage or like a plan or
Well,
something.
a dosage, but you have to be properly like watched. And
Mhm.
if you look at
Methadone.
if
You
you
have to
look
use
at like
methadone.
jails, not even jails, but like treatment centers and stuff in Europe, that's why there's so many less jails like in Europe and like Asia and stuff, because people will take care of their sick properly. And like that's why a lot of these people are in jail because of drugs or alcohol, and they can't get the proper treatment, and then it's just a vicious cycle that they're stuck in.
Our president is mentally ill,
No,
and nobody wants to face it.
hi,
Oh, it's been
Anitra.
that way for a while. I think, and one thing about it, Andrea, I totally agree with you. He has some like long outstanding undiagnosed issues for sure. Somebody should have been assessed him a long time ago. So, yeah, you're right about that. But that's the danger of it, right? That go people without the right type of care and the right type of support, and they end up fascist in the White House.
And if we really were caring Americans like we should be, we would enact the 25th Amendment. We wouldn't leave him in office destroying his country like he's doing.
I've seen the I've had it ladies, like they go off on him all the time, but they will say, they're like, this is elder abuse.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Nobody cares about him, and they taking advantage of him.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
because
He
he's
don't care about
nobody.
nobody to care about him. I mean, he did live. I don't know if you guys know that book that Mary Trump, his niece, wrote. I don't know if
Mhm.
you read
I
that.
have it. I
It
have it.
it's a quick read and a good one. And I mean, he grew up being uncared for, and with a very fucked up family. So
Mhm.
So I just want to highlight Dally Oops's, comment about her family, and I'm so sorry to hear that because it's tough. Drinking was a lot of fun.
My
I
mother,
would,
my mother used to say that life's a bitch and then you die. And I've been trying to have some fun in the meantime too. Though my mother was funny, so when she said it, she would just say, we do get hit with hard things sometime, and we have to deal with it. And but I've never thought I would be dealing with the country we're in today.
mm-hmm.
and especially now, like
Yes, you are worried. I was
and
gonna use the word hope.
and like especially now, we have to take care of our mental health, because if you just, I know that people talk about like sitting and watching Fox News all day, but honestly, it's kind of the same on our side too. You can't just sit and watch Don Lemon or the I've Had It or Midas Touch, because I mean, there's a bunch of, news outlets that stream for us. I have my limits, and I know like when I have to, well, I have a 3-year-old that also distracts me, but like you have to limit yourself with that too, because you want to stay informed, but it is also really overwhelming.
It
It's
is. It is. I've
crazy.
noticed that it's been a stress on me having to just be putting these shows together. Like I have to just be on it all the time. I have to watch this, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse and more terrible and terribler and terribler. And it's really it does take a toll on me for sure. I've noticed that, like even on Dawn yesterday, I was so angry, I was so pissed. And people were like, "Oh, you curse too much," and I'm like, you know what? I'm cursing because I'm angry, and I'm cursing because I don't like to see people be brutalized every single day. My Instagram used to be full of cat videos and some things about Lord of the Rings and Pokemon and SpongeBob, and now it's nothing but like people getting beat up all over and dragged all up and down the street every day. Like you can't even take a break or just scroll and look at something fun anymore. And
When he knocked that white girl down to the ground, and then knocked that white guy down, and he had a brain injury after that. I
Mhm.
mean, tears just came to my eyes, and I just can't believe what I'm seeing. And I mean, I think he's trying to drive us crazy. First, he's trying not to feed us, and then we're gonna be crazy, and then we'll be gone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something that scared me a while ago was at one point RFK Jr. tried to say, "Well, we're just gonna take all these people off their Adderall and send them to wellness farms." And
Yeah.
I'm like, my first reaction was, "You really think that's a good idea? Taking unmedicated ADHD people and trying to get them to do a task? It's not gonna work out the way you think it is, my guy." But
Yeah,
like,
that scared me too. Because I need to have medication in order for my brain to have the proper chemical balance,
yep,
and you can't just stop it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
remember.
mean, you have to come off of it in increments.
Yeah, I
It's
remember the first time I take Adderall in the mornings for my ADHD, and I remember the first time I took it, and I was like, "Oh my God, my head's not buzzing anymore. I can sit still. I can have a thought and let it sit.
yeah.
It's not just like constant go 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 go. Here's this, here's that. Like it was
And
crazy."
then when you started thinking and watched Donald Trump, and you said, "Oh my goodness," I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure I got undiagnosed ADD, but I was born in the 70s, so I made it this far. I'm cool.
Well,
But
also in women, ADD and ADHD goes either undiagnosed or misdiagnosed a lot.
I can, yeah, I bet.
Because it's not as much for us hyperactive as it is just your mind just going.
Right.
So that's why they don't they misdiagnose it or don't diagnose it because it's not always hyper.
Again,
They do get a lot of boys in that.
there's so many different forms of mental health that, I mean, we could be here all night
Yeah.
going through them
They're
all.
adding religious persecution to the next DSM diagnosis statistical manual that they use to diagnose mental problems, but they're adding so many little things now because there's all these things that they didn't think about.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Really?
are they also adding TDS?
Tourette's.
No, Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
They need to.
You
I was
know
like,
what?
yes. I was like, that's what I was thinking.
PTSD, like you say, this PT. Every day he got us waking up to some dramatic stuff.
No, really, I was thinking about this and
I
how
can't imagine
detrimental
after that
this is.
Pam Bondi thing the other day. I was.
Yeah.
This is gonna be so damaging to our next generations.
I don't
Like,
like people talking to me and thinking I'm
Damaging to us
stupid,
now.
yeah,
and that
I mean,
messes me
even
up. And then
me,
it's
like,
emboldening a lot of people to think that they could do certain things, and it's come home to roost. And now I'm like, it makes me very sad. But I mean, I'm not a sad person. But instead
mhm,
of getting angry this time, I'm very sad. It's like intrinsic. That's the only way I can put.
yeah,
It kind of got into there, and it's like, well, all I am, I'm a black woman trying to work, and you got all these obstacles on top of doing your job and trying to get around. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen to people who are not black. That's not the issue. It's just my personal story. I'm black, and and I travel for my job, so I'm always starting new, relationships, so to
mhm.
speak. But in different parts of the country, you get different reactions, and so.
Yeah.
But right now, it's everywhere. It's just
Monique, would you like to say something?
I was waiting to jump in. No, my story is probably a little different. My counselor seemed to think when I was diagnosed during COVID, 2020, I found myself very angry all the time, just over nothing. Just I was very angry all the time. And so, of course, the first thing to my mind wasn't depression or anything like that because I wasn't crying a lot. I wasn't sad. I was functioning. I was high functioning, but I was just angry all the time. And like you, Katie, my husband is very, very supportive. And I remember him telling me one day, like, you think you should talk to somebody, babe? You just seem to be angry all the time. And I could never tell him what was wrong. It's like, I don't know what's wrong, but it was just,
And they don't say it in a way that's like, oh my gosh, you have to change. It's more of a way of like,
no,
you're not yourself.
yes,
Like, we got to
yes.
figure this out. Yeah.
And so when I finally did hook up with a counselor, and God is good, I mean, I got my perfect match the first time out, and we just connected, she and I. And she told me, for after having a few sessions and everything with her, she said, you have probably been depressed for decades, but you have such high coping skills. I was always a person who was into yoga and meditation and prayer and, just all of that stuff, journaling. I'd always done all that kind of stuff. And so I think that I was actually coping with my triggers, for decades. But when COVID happened, it just all got to be a little bit too much. And I'm fortunate that I haven't had to take any kind of medication or anything like that. I have been able to control it with counseling and with all my coping mechanisms and everything. So I probably don't have the same level of fear, of people that may be looking to, maybe I won't be able to get my medication or anything like that. But I do worry all the time that if it were to get worse, would the resources be out there for me? If I didn't have this counselor, would I be able to find the resources to help me? But, like I said, my story
I'll be
was
right back, guys. I just gotta tell my dad something.
Okay. It manifests in a different way all the time. But my breaking point, I remember one day I woke up and I just started crying, and I curled up into a little ball, and I told my husband, I can't, I just can't today. And that was the day later on that day, that he was like, babe, I think you maybe need to talk to somebody, about what's going on, because I had absolutely no idea what was going on with me. I just knew I wasn't right. So, it's very, very important to raise awareness, and everyone, it's not a cookie cutter thing. Everyone is not going to be the same. Like Andrea says, it manifests in so many different ways, and you never know what people are going through.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And people have to realize with therapy too, because you had said you got lucky the first time with your therapist. I must have gone, I mean, I lived in different places, but I must have gone through like 5 or 6 different therapists until I landed on the one that I have now.
Yeah.
And I've had her for 5 years, and she's been kicking my ass and, keeping me in check.
That is so important too. If you're going to have a counselor, if you're going to have, somebody talking to you and talking you through this stuff, it's so important that you have someone you're completely comfortable with, and that you can be completely open with, and that you trust. You have to trust whoever it is that you're talking to.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing I love about mine personally is like, whenever I need like those, just like her knowledge and the professionalism, it's there. But then also it is like talking to a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just comfortable with her.
Yeah.
And she
It's a
understands,
professional friendship.
Yeah, and she understands my life. And my husband's gone to therapy with me a couple of times. She's very open about him being there. I brought my daughter with me, and she was there for us on the journey of, when I was pregnant with her and then having her. So it's been cool now to have her see those major moments in my life. And she's seen a lot of like where I've started versus now. And she's like, she'll tell me all the time. She's like, you're so dope. I'm so proud of you. And it's just cool to have that.
Yeah.
I second that, first of all, Katie, because like even just when we first met till now, I've seen a major change within you, and I'm proud of you too. So for sure.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are awesome.
Anitra, do you get tired
Yes,
of
ma'am.
traveling? Would you feel better not traveling around and having to interact with so many different people all the time?
It's a two-edged sword. I'm a people person, so it's kind of nice. The problem is traveling while dark-skinned black woman with a deep voice who is not small. and I have a very strong personality. And I wonder sometimes, is it me? And I'm realizing it's me. It's if you come in mousy and quiet, and you kind of scoot over, they don't say too much. But when you come in like me, I get a lot of resistance. Even if I'm by myself, it's just it's happened at a lot of places, and a lot of times it's jealousy. I hate to say it that way. It sounds cocky, but that's what it
That's
is.
fact.
Yeah.
And I make sure I know everything, but as much as I can know. That way, because if I don't know it, I'm stupid. But if other people don't know it, maybe they forgot or were never taught. And it's kind of hard. And this week it kind of took me down because I had another thing happen in my family, and then I was so hurt because something was said about me that wasn't true. A lot of somethings, and I just knew somebody was gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. Let me listen to what you have to say about this." But that's not what I got. And it's happened before. And I take mental health meds. I am a survivor of childhood abuse, so I'm not always right, but I'm in the maintenance stage. That's what I call this.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went through some homelessness and some stuff back in the 2010s to 12, wasn't that long ago. I could not get my medicine, and I knew it was going to happen. And I told them to take me off, and they said, "We can't take you off. You need to keep it." But at the time, it was $750 for a 30-day supply,
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Wow.
and I
And
was terrified.
illness.
So
Mm-hmm.
I ordered it through one of those AstraZeneca, Pfizer or whoever can help, and they had it coming. But the lady who was over it at this clinic, she was not that old, but she was getting a little senile, and she forgot to order it one time. And if I don't have it, I get violently ill
Hmm.
because of the withdrawal. It's real fast within 24 hours.
Hmm.
I start feeling like I'm electrocuted, ataxic. I start moving all over the place. Things get
Mm.
wavy. I start sweating like horrible sweat, and then here comes the projectile. You know what? And I've had it without it, and so I was in a homeless shelter, and I told them I've got to go. So I had made an appointment. They were going to get me another prescription, but when I got there, due to some unforeseen circumstances, I was in nursing school the first time, and I did not finish at that school. But my professor, who was kind of mean, was working there to pay off her debts, and she wouldn't see me.
Hmm.
Oh man.
So I had to go to the emergency room and incur emergency room costs and get a voucher for 15 days worth. And then to get my prescription, I literally had to go into the doctor's office of the guy who told me to stay on it. And I laid on the floor, and I laid there and fell asleep. I like passed out. And
Hmm.
when I came to, I had a prescription and it was taken care of. But I think about that because I lost my insurance, and that's why I know what people are gonna go through because I hadn't been there, and people don't get it. And I told them I was at some family's house during that time, and I said I'm homeless. I'm staying at the shelter, and they said, "Well, why don't you get an apartment?" People don't, and that's when I started taking care of my own space. I take care of my own space now. I feed some people with a long spoon. I try to stop and think, and I spend a lot of time alone because traveling places I don't know anybody. So I do have a lot of time for Nitra. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've done a lot of work, but I'm the best I've ever been. And
Well,
if you look at
welcome
my
to the
trajectory, I
community.
keep going up. So I've taken a few steps back.
All
Welcome to the
right, all
community.
right.
You're
Yeah,
But I
you're
so
a
made it.
that's
family
a
now.
very a great point I wanted to kind of just throw in there for everybody to think about, because one thing for me, um, it's other people in my environment that will start fucking with my mental health. It's like the energy that I get from other people that I have to be aware of, because once that negativity, once that negative energy was, once you siphon it off of my empathic being, you know what I mean? That's really where I have to be like, nah, you can't be around me because you messing with my zen, my vibe, you know?
Right, right.
well,
And
neat.
that's one thing I've learned about myself, is having those boundaries of people that I let into my space and into my energy for sure.
Well, Anitra, you brought up a good point too, just about like the side effects that you've had from not being on your medications. And I mean, there were times, so there was a point, I'm not on it anymore, but I was on Klonopin for a bit because my anxiety was just through the roof. But there would be times where like my doctor would make a mistake and I would just be off it for like one day and you could not like come near me.
That'll
Like I
kill
would
you.
be, it
It'll
was
kill you
like,
quicker than anything. A benzo. Mm.
yeah, benzos are not something to mess with. And like,
Have you taken benzo, Marley?
In the past.
and I, like I said, I'm not on it anymore and I'm grateful
Well,
for
she
that.
might not want to say exactly what.
Well,
Like
you know,
it was,
Well, those that they're not giving them as much
I
anymore
think
either
we're
because of
helping
addiction.
people.
Yeah.
Helping a
yeah.
lot of people. Even if they don't see the show today, they might see this show in the future. And I think we're really helping people. And I'm really appreciate everybody being so open and honest because I know some of this stuff is hard to say, you know. So thank you.
Well, I think that the thing about ending the stigma of mental health is being confident and open and honest because there's
It's getting better. It is
it
getting
it
better.
is, but there's so many people who still hold so much shame just because they have a diagnosis of depression and or anxiety or like I talked about earlier with my borderline personality, like you just because you have that diagnosis, it doesn't make you less of a person.
That's right.
If anything,
I was borderline, and I'm one of the very few lucky people. I know it. I am no longer, but I catch myself going back into that. I know they say you can't change it. I did it, but it took like 40 years. I ain't gonna even lie.
well, no, and borderline
And
is scary because you can't take a
it
medicine for
is.
it. It's all
Nope.
in your mind. It's all your mind, and it's about therapy and just literally
It
learning
is.
as much about yourself as you can. So,
Yeah, at this
And
point in my
knowing what
life,
it is. Some people don't know what it is. You can't fix what you don't know.
that's true.
go ahead, Marley. Sorry.
At this point in my life, that's what I am like struggling with or coming out of is the stigma, feeling ashamed about the stigma. I was recently diagnosed in 2019, right? No, 2018, going into the end of 2018 around Christmas time,
Mhm.
with bipolar disorder because I went into mania after
Mm.
someone who close to me died,
Mhm.
which scared me because
Mhm.
um, my symptoms when I went into mania is that I was hallucinating.
Mm-hmm. With
Very
psychotic features.
hard
Sorry.
to lose that touch
It
with
happens.
reality. It's scary. And so I went in, I started seeing a therapist. I got in because it was like an emergency.
Mhm.
And I started doing therapy. And through that work, I got better coping skills, medication, the proper diagnosis. Because ever since I was young, because of trauma and sexual abuse, I had complex PTSD and depression. I didn't know that's what it was until I started going to therapy, until I went into the mania. But because I have so many diagnoses, that it makes I feel ashamed about that. It's not just, oh, I'm depressed. No, it's complex PTSD. It's bipolar disorder, and my bipolar disorder will cause me to hallucinate. Um, it is anxiety. It's insomnia. You know, it's all these things. And when you tell people, oh, I have multiple mental health issues or diagnosis, that scares people. And I understand because it scares me. But I feel like if I had other people around me in my personal life or people, famous people that were more open when I was growing up about their mental health, that would have helped me. And it would help me now not to have, I'm over it, not over it, but I'm still finding myself sometimes um, feeling shameful about it.
Well, that's actually a good transition, Marley, because I've got some videos of celebrities talking about their mental health stuff. So why don't we move ahead a little bit with that, and we'll.
What I'd really like to
Thank you for
do is
sharing.
to talk to you today
Yes,
to
thank you,
stop
Marley, so
stigma,
much.
to give you the realistic facts. And a great way of stomping out stigma is to talk about people's personal stories. One person that I truly admire is Demi Lovato. Yes, she is a pop singer and superstar, but that's not why I share her story. Demi is really amazing because a few years ago she came out on national television and she admitted that she has bipolar disorder. She even talked about her addictions issues and the fact that she was suffering also with anorexia. Demi became a great advocate for mental health. She had a whole worldwide concert series tour dedicated to creating awareness about mental health, especially amongst her fans. And then there's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne, yes, is a former wrestler, actor, and producer. However, one of the things a lot of people don't know about The Rock is that he was diagnosed with depression. He was interviewed in a magazine some time ago, and he said this: "I cried so much that I couldn't cry anymore." He went through such a terrible time, but he reached out and he got the help that he needed. In our society, it is often very difficult for men to reach out for help with their mental health and their challenges because they'll be seen as weak. But I just feel Dwayne is really inspiring because he inspires men and women alike to reach out and to know that reaching out for help is actually a really strong thing.
And then I have one more. Let's do this one. Talking about Carson Daly again.
I've had heightened anxiety and mild panic attacks at the playground with my own children and wife there, and the feeling was so gripping, so terrifying, that I literally had to leave and excuse myself.
Michael Phelps.
Kristen Bell.
I love her too.
This is kind of the downside of the way God made me, and there's a tremendous upside as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen Veronica Mars. Oh my God, I love her.
Mainly because I want people to hear that it's not a big deal and that you can be happy and healthy and no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
I love that.
Yep.
I can tell you I've probably had at least half a dozen depression spells that I've gone through, and the one in 2014, I didn't want to be alive.
Yeah, just and it's good that there's celebrities out there that are speaking out, because it does help you realize you're not alone. I know when I was talking about when I found out I had BPD, the first thing I saw when I looked up borderline was Britney Spears, and I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna shave my head and like
Start dancing with knives.
Yeah. But then another one I saw was Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live.
What's BPD?
Borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
Yeah. And Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live also has it, and he's been a very big advocate of getting help. Like, he's gotten clean. He's really figured out his life in the past couple of years too.
His dad died in 9/11.
Yep. He was a firefighter.
That's a lot of started off. Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to tell you, Marley, that, like, you were talking about the shame of the multiple diagnoses. If it's anything, like, I understand, but I also think so much more of you now. Just learning that bit about you, because as someone who's been through stuff like that, this shit isn't easy.
God, it's not.
It's not. Every day is like, every day is a battle.
Yeah.
Some days are really good. And even in the times where we're in good places in our heads, we still have triggers.
Yeah.
And the triggers are what get us. And the thing that sometimes still bothers me is like, I'll say like, oh, being in this place is really triggering for me, or like, this thing that you're doing is really triggering. And people will say to me, well, can't you just be happy or think of something happy? And
I wish it were that easy.
I look at them and I say, would you tell that to somebody who just broke their leg and just tell them to try to walk? And they'll say to me, oh no, that's not the same thing. It is 100% the same thing.
It is.
Yep.
And
All
stuff like
evidence
that.
can't be seen.
Exactly. And like stuff like that needs to be
I
more aware.
I have a bit of a story I would like to share if before you can go, Anitra. Did you have something to say, Anitra? I'm sorry, I cut you off. You started.
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
You go ahead.
Okay, no, me and Katie, the host of the show, we're gonna let our guests talk.
Y'all fine.
All right, but yeah, for me personally,
I
my
like your
journey
hair,
with
by the way.
mental health is a little different. I've never been diagnosed with any, anxiety or depression. I don't suffer from those things. I'm a very empathic person and a helpful type of person. I actually help a lot of friends of mine that suffer with those type of things out a lot. But luckily, I just happen to be blessed with that, with not being, debilitated by something like that. You know what I mean? I mean, we all have our issues. We all have our things. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I mean, I don't need medication and things like that, so thank the Lord. But after my sexual assault, I definitely went down a really dark road mentally, that just it changed my life. And I remember just being like, it was almost like a blur. Like I just kind of don't remember it. It felt hazy after that sort of trauma, right? If y'all don't know what happened, I was bartending. I was at my place of work. Somebody put something in my drink. I remember being at the bar, blacked out, don't remember anything. I woke up at a stranger's house, being fucked pretty much. Had to get out of the situation because I didn't know if I freaked out, would he try to keep me there or anything like that. So I had to maneuver my way out of it. It was a very scary experience. And I went down. I went down pretty hard mentally for sure. And what helped me out of it, it's not therapy. I can't afford therapy at all. But was tarot. I stumbled upon tarot. I always say tarot found me when I needed it the most. And it really, really helped pull me out of the dark place that I was in. And then now, ever since then, I've been using tarot to help other people as well. So that's kind of where I am with my mental things. And I know I can kind of slip back. I started drinking way too much. Like it was bad, like bad. And, I always have to check myself and just be like, because, mixology is my thing. I'm a mixologist, I'm around these environments. I bartended for 12 years. I can't bartend anymore. I can't work in that environment anymore. But, being on the other side of the bar is fine. But not being there all day, every day in that environment is just too much emotionally. But and it's been a long time since then. That happened in 2017, and I've come a long way. But there's still a lot of work in just the changing and things that once I turned 30, a lot changed for me, like mentally and just like spiritually and all these things. But
some people prescribe marijuana for mental illness.
That's why Michael Phelps got in trouble.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And y'all know I take care of my plants. That's what got me through through the pandemic. And honestly, really, but it's also therapeutic to be out in the the garden or doing my art. I got my new art studio, literally.
Waiting on my earrings.
Yeah, I know. I'm honestly, like, let me tell you about that, because I've been waiting for my studio to get built, and it just got finished before I
Oh,
start taking out all of my stuff and start getting to work.
was that
Because
the construction you kept telling us? Do we hear in the background?
yes,
I never heard any of it.
I know.
I would hear it sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, but yeah, it's done. Well, it's
I know,
not like
I'm just
done,
messing with
but
you.
it's done, and now it's usable for me. So I'm super
Well,
excited. to start living.
so funny story about that real quick with with pot. So when I lived in Las Vegas for 3 years, and like when we lived there, that was right when pot got legalized fully, and there would be just dispensaries on every street corner. But I would
There's more.
yeah, I would do a lot of gigs and play with a lot of musicians, and so whenever we would have breaks, they would all have pot, and I was like, maybe I'll just try it once, see. It didn't do shit for me. Well, I then found out from my brother-in-law, who was a chemist, that from the medication I took, it canceled out what the pot would have done. So I couldn't feel
yeah,
it.
that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense, because
Yeah.
the CBD and like the THC, depending on it, you would just need like a different strain without that sort of chemical that would interfere. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's I know this stuff on a molecular level, but yeah, no, that you're not the only person that has experienced something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Just
Some
before,
people's chemistry just don't go with it, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
some people are like, nah, you don't need to smoke that. You getting all weird. I got a
Mhm.
brother like that.
So before we get into some closing stuff, I've got some data for us here. So 77%, this is all from 2025. 77% of respondents would feel comfortable if a coworker shared mental health concerns. But nearly half report that they're worried they'd be judged if they shared about their own mental health. Less than 50% of employees who receive training about mental health and mental health benefits report a 10-point decrease in worries about being judged.
The thing about it is I work in a mental health setting, so I get to talk about it all the time. They say $50 for the free, but there are a lot of people that need to really, they know they have some issues, but they're not really addressing it, and they're trying, and and they're and it's hard to talk about. And so in that setting, but at work, you're right. There's gonna be people, depending on what you do, that's gonna have something to say. And it's just it can, we, like you said, we got to get away from the taboo-ness of it and realize that all of us are functioning on different levels with different stressors, and that, dang it, sometimes we're going to have off days. And the biggest thing that I came up with, I found out, is some of the most brilliant people I've ever met. And I've met a lot of people that are mentally ill officially, are the smartest, the smartest, most talented, eloquent. It's almost like they're so talented that they have to have that flaw to balance things out. Or it's kind of like, you got Bill Gates. He's so smart, but then he has autism, and or Elon, even though I don't want to talk about him, but he's smart. He just don't use
Well,
it for good.
like there's a lot you notice.
There's a
Like
lot of people.
look at the actors and musicians, that like the famous people. And like for me, I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD until I was 28, I think. And I went through school and my bachelor's and my master's and still got through all of it.
I never heard about it till you probably were 28. I'm just saying, we did. I grew up at a time when, because I'm 50, so I grew up I can't believe that. Anyway, at a time when things were a little bit, like I said, you walked it off, and I was the one that I tried to hurt myself. I tried to kill myself about 4 times before I finally stopped. But the first time was the most significant, and I did it at a time when the Black community wasn't really ready for it, and the religion I was in didn't really appreciate it. And so there was a lot of back and forth, and some lady went and told about it. There was no HIPAA violation because there wasn't no HIPAA. HIPAA came out in 96. This was about 83, 85, 86. But anyway, it was later than that. But anyway, it was just a lot going on. And a lot of things were said about me that weren't true. But what I was getting to, the point was this: when I finally got to a place where I saw people couldn't control some of what they had for mental illness, and mine was modifiable through behavioral and other things, then I said, I am at this point responsible because they can't control theirs, and it's evil what's being, pressed upon them. So anyway, I started coming out of it, and I ended up working 25 years later at the very place that I spent all my time at between the ages of 12 and 16 for 9 years with some of the same people that took care of me.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
but another thing is, like, mental health is a huge stigma in the Black community, so let's not forget that.
That's what I'm saying.
And then also, the resources were literally actually taken away. Like, we didn't have access to services. Still don't actually, but to actually be helped through these sort of things, like basic shit. Going to the doctor as a Black woman in America, you be lucky not to die in the hospital. You know what I mean? Having whatever issue you got, you will not be treated the same way as a white person. Actually, you might be signing your death certificate if you go to the hospital as a Black person. So I mean, that's a whole nother level and a barrier to mental health for just Black people in general in this country. So
this is more of a general statement, but something people have to realize too is different states have different like medical and healthcare plans. When I lived in Vegas, I did not have great mental health care, and my medications per month were almost $150.
Wow.
And now I have an amazing psychiatrist and therapist who work together, and I think it's like $30, and that's it for every 3 months. Like in Pennsylvania, it's so much better, and every state is different. So be careful of that too. Especially
yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at the abortion rights now. Like, I mean, I really wish California would have done something like, hey, we're a refugee state. Like, we need to actually still do that.
And I work in a lot of states with that, and they are different. And when people, sorry.
No, continue. No, I was done. But yeah. Oh, and so one other thing I did want to bring up. I wanted to bring up one thing. I want to thank all the therapists out there that take in all of this energy from other people and are helping people out. So thank you so much for doing what you do. I'm not a licensed therapist, but in a lot of ways, I feel like the readings and the work that I do with tarot, it feels very similar in a lot of ways, because I do sit and talk, like, at least the way in my style of reading is very kind of therapeutic, or it's very conversational. I really like talk with people and make sure that I leave people with something healing or something to look forward to or something to work on to progress in a positive way. And I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people that I met before or haven't met before, you know what I mean? And it's a lot to because I'm more of a, like, I take care of other people more than I do myself a lot of the time. And so that self-care and that self recognition and that self healing, and when I need to take a break, because I'm taking on too many other people's problems, is always something that I have to remind myself. So and I know it's draining. And so thank you to all the therapists out there that do all the good work to help their people.
I like to add one thing. I know that there's a stigma around mental illnesses, and it can be scary when you're going through it. But for me, when I look back of who I was in the past versus like getting my diagnosis, doing the work, going to therapy, doing my medication, changing my lifestyle, I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I really do. It's made me a better person, and I have a better relationship with myself. I can set boundaries. This, I am my best
Absolutely.
advocate. So
Absolutely, Marley. I
That's
agree with
amazing in
that.
itself. 'Cause
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I can
yay,
tell
Marley, you are
I can
surviving, girl.
I can tell you right now that like before I probably like 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to even look at myself in a mirror. So like the fact that I'm here doing like the YouTube shows and stuff is huge. And the fact that I can say like, "Hey, I'm pretty dope. I've
Mhm.
been through some shit, but I'm still here." Like that's huge for me to say.
Fuck
So
yeah, Katie.
and I completely agree with you, Marley. Like you are your best advocate for sure.
I'm my
And
own best friend, and I didn't climb through a mile of shit and came out clean on the other side.
yeah.
yes,
That
Can't get
builds
no better than
character.
that,
And anybody that
but a
says
lot
that
of
they're
wisdom.
perfect and don't have no mental issues of some sort or some type of way needs therapy, because like that means that you all the way in the wrong headspace here, sir. Everybody is fucked up in some way, especially during these times what we going through now. We all gonna be fucked up, and we gonna need a nap a day after this is all said and
put a
done.
number in the chat. I put a number in the chat for people that are having a mental health crisis. If you could make sure that is shown.
sure. I don't see it just yet.
It's
Maybe
it's above Dolly Oaks. There's definitely a soul benefit to helping others.
I don't see
I
it
don't
yet.
see it.
It's
Maybe
And
try to enter it again.
988.
huh?
Yeah, I don't see it. Don't
Okay.
put any dashes or anything. Just put it as
I
a sequence
didn't.
of numbers.
Yeah, I didn't.
But since we're rounding up the hour here, we're gonna just do
I'll
some
type it
closing stuff. So if
Don't
everyone
close
wants,
until I type put the number
I
in.
got you. If you guys want to talk about some things that you do to self-care
I
and
was gonna ask the same question,
stuff
Katie.
like that. So if whoever
Little
wants
round
to go
table.
first, yeah, I'll
Let's
go.
start with Marley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it's kind of like a daily practice. When I get home or I'm feeling anxious, I always set aromatherapy to lavender. I light incense. I take a nice bath, like bubble bath. And then I usually just get out of my head by watching like comedy, something funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, my lovely girl, Steffi, my dog, she is like so precious to me and she grounds me. So that's what I do.
Mo, you want to go next?
Sure. I write a lot. I write a lot. Music.
I just added it again.
Music is my life. I cannot go through a day without some sort of music. So music for me, I write a lot. I meditate. I discovered meditating about 5 years ago, and that really, really grounds me. If I put my earbuds on and put them on noise cancellation, my home base is my heartbeat. I can hear my own heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very soothing for me. So yeah, that's what I do.
Anitra?
Today I went and got me a Manny's patty, and I got my eyebrows waxed, and I sang a "Nitra, you so fresh, fresh you are, Nitra" song. And then when I got done, I say something weird. I say weird stuff sometimes, and I know I'm saying it, so I tell people I'm not gonna stop saying it. But you may hear me say PlayStation. I don't know why I say it. There's one more. The other one is show me your secret pen.
Oh my.
So I embrace that mental illness, and I tell the people I work with, look at me. This is the maintenance stage. Absorb it. They be looking at me like, if this is maintenance, I don't want nothing to do with it.
I love it. What
I'm
about
not
you?
only the client,
Andrea?
I'm the player president.
What about you?
Oh, I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry.
I got your thing. I'm gonna post it in the chat yeah.
Okay.
What do you do for self-care? Self-care.
Self-care, I go take a relaxing bath, and I just take a relaxing bath. I have to take a relaxing bath. I feel better, and I go watch something crazy on TV. And it might not be a comedy. I might watch something that scare the living daylights out of me just to get me in a different frame of mind. You know what I mean? Really weird. That's what I like to watch. So
I will watch a murder mystery be like this. They did what?
I'm like, ooh, and I start saying, ooh, like that. And that's what I do. I just take a bath and watch crazy TV. I turn away from the news completely.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
I'm kind of with you on
Like,
that
go
one.
up the step. Oh, jump out the window. Why'd she do that?
I have this one friend who is like the best person to watch horror movies with because she will tell me everything that's about to happen. So like something will happen and she'll go like, remember that for later. Ooh, why is he going up the steps? Don't open the door. Don't open the door.
I hate watching movies with people that do that. I'm like,
Be setting it all up. You like, how many times you seen this?
See, I'm jumpy, so like that's good for me. I can kind of like mentally prepare myself. But May, what about you? What's some of your self-care?
Okay, well, I got a lot. I do. I really do, because I'm a Libra. I love my self-care. We love to luxuriate. You know what I mean? This is just a regular schmegular thing for me. But when I'm feeling sad or anything like that, first of all, I love my like The Walking Dead and 100 and Lord of the Rings. I love my heroic stories when people kicking ass and winning and fighting through it. That just makes me feel powerful because I've always had that warrior spirit within me. You know, I'm always ready to fight a bitch. You know, I'm confident within myself.
Sean and Rick.
Yeah. Yep. So those are the things that just kind of keep me reminding myself about, my power within, and also, my writing for sure. Also, check out my new Substack post, my first Substack post. I just posted it yesterday. Check it out. It's a really great article, and I'm a great writer. I take pride in my work. And if y'all haven't read any of my poetry or my novel, I'm still working on it, but things like that. And then also just, I really like being with friends. I really like being around the people that I fuck with tough. I really just love caring for other people and making other people feel good and feel better and brightening people's day. Like that makes me feel good. And so that keeps me going. And then also I like me a good 6-hour nap. And I like to just watch
Okay.
Smoking and drinking, you need a 6-hour.
I be getting my nap on. I feel you, and I sleep in the daytime because I work at night. So I be.
Oh yeah, I like
But
to
May,
just
I have
binge
something
watch
to tell
YouTube
you.
all day and just chill with my cat Annabelle and Sandy.
I got two calls about you tonight.
Us came together for a reason, on this show and on our regular show. We the people unite, and I think it helps all of us talking to each other, laughing, joking, and it helps us, move forward.
I think togetherness really, really helps me a lot, and my confidence and my just can do, go for it attitude really, really helps me. But if I'm ever really, really, really sad, I'll put on it Disney's Enchanted, and I'll feel better instantly.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I got 2 calls tonight after the regular show. I was trying to tell you. One to know where the light-skinned girl to do all the cussing at. I ain't seen her in a while. I said, she on Millennial Game. They said, oh, but she was coming. I said, I know. I said, I'm going to tell her you looking for her. I said, you want to hear me? I can cuss you out right now for free. So they looking for you.
So, oh my gosh,
I cracked up. I'm getting long distance phone calls
yesterday. I'm like, man, either I'm about to slap a bitch for this fascism, or I'm gonna just curse you out. Which one you want?
I'm gonna answer just real quick, and then we can get to Jazzy's question here. So for me, I love watching old comedy movies, so like Monty Python or anything Mel Brooks. Because my husband and I will just laugh our asses off for like 2 hours straight. Or I'll play with my daughter and just run around the house with her because she just sees me and I'm her best friend, so she's just always happy. And then lastly, I will play my instruments. I have my saxophones, but then also I recently taught myself bass guitar and regular guitar, so like I can just get lost for literally hours if I need to escape. And I also play piano and I sing and I do my musical stuff. So, but Jazzy brings up a really good question. And how do you guys not live in your own fears?
And see,
I keep spiders away from me for sure.
And make money. I'm so rebellious. I have a very rebellious nature that I'm not gonna let my fears take over what I'm trying to do.
That's I didn't make it this far with the crap I've been through. The rest of this is just some added bull crap. Because I didn't survive the worst of it.
Think about Rosa Parks. If she could sit down and say, I don't care, that's what I say. I don't care either.
I know
I'm the scary one.
I know for me, I got to a point in my life where like I felt like I feared almost everything. Between the fear and the negativity, it just felt so heavy on me. Like I was walking around life with this weighted blanket that I couldn't get off. And I was just so tired of feeling that heaviness. And when I started to let that go, that was what started to help me to get out of my own head. Because you don't realize like how heavy that like negativity and like just feeling scared is. So that's something too.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of that fear comes from outside of you sometimes. There's outer sources of energy that latch onto you that you just got to be aware, like
devil's advocate.
Why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this way? Because a lot of times it's not even your own energy, it's somebody else that's tacking on to you. So that be very aware of that. Like that type of spiritual and emotional intelligence is something that needs to always be worked on. It's not. It just doesn't come to us naturally.
Fear tries to control. Monique.
Here's how I don't live in my fears. My fears are my friends, and I tell them to fuck off. I face my fears. No, really, I do. If I'm fearful of something, I look it straight in the eye, I confront it, and I let the feeling go through me. Like, what is the worst thing that could happen? And then I just say, fuck off. And I go about my day. And it sounds really simple. It's not a simple thing to do, because a lot of people, when they feel fearful about something, they want to bury it. They want to put it over here. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to deal with it. The best way I've found to go through it is to let it in, acknowledge it, tell it to fuck off, and be about your day.
Yeah, stay your ass over there. Don't come bothering me. You know.
Yeah, and that's something that's like something you can practice. That you know.
Well, it don't take long. That's part of my coping skill, because but the difference between me is I have flashbacks, so I kick them out hundreds of times a day. But occasionally, I'm not strong enough, so I have to go live in that for a little bit, and then I'm knocked out of it again because anybody got time for that.
Yep.
You know, another thing that makes me feel better: cursing.
Well, you know it.
You know me, I be rapping.
I get creative with my swear words.
I don't give a.
I done strung some real good ones together, cursing a bitch out. Oh, it's my favorite thing to do.
Marley.
For me, because I have PTSD, sometimes I have to just do breath work, and that naturally calms the brain, and it grounds me. And the other is kind of like what Momo said, is in Anitra. You just face it. I just recognize, okay, I'm having fear. I let that sit with me, and then I move on from that. And that's what I do.
But it's not easy.
It
No,
is not easy.
It's not easy.
Another
it
thing
sounds
that
simple, but it's not a simple thing to do.
something else that could help is guided meditation.
Mhm.
Even
Yeah,
if it's
right
like
now I'm in
10
the safe
minutes.
spot. So whatever's scaring me can't get to me. But it is hard. You have to practice it, but it only takes 21 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm there's not very many things that scare me. Spiders.
You got to know what it is too. Some people don't
And
know.
Samuel L. Jackson. But those are the three things that like really give me
Samuel L.
the
Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know. He's always yelling and screaming at people.
I actually met him, and I met Samuel, and I met him at the San Francisco airport, and he was shaking all of our hands, and this white man walked up to shake his hand, and he said he wouldn't shake your hand. And the man said, "Why?" He thought he was kidding. He said, if I shake your hands, he said, if I shake your hand, I have to wash them again before I eat. But he had just shaken all of our hands.
That was scared the shit out. See, I told you he was
told
scared.
him that, and I was like, what?
When I'm upset, though, and I bring out my inner Samuel L., it goes like this. Wait a minute, I got to do it. I hope you die and burn in hell.
Andrea, I would pay money to see you and Samuel L. Jackson together. That would be
we were, yeah, I was.
You be doing that dance he did in Jump Fever.
Mama. Like, so, you know, he
well, this was awesome. Thank you so much for everybody doing this. I'm so glad we got to do it. And yeah, thank you all for being vulnerable. Thank you to everybody in the comments. I've personally been wanting to do a mental health thing for a while, so I'm just really thrilled. And you guys are all amazing.
You needed all the crazies to come first so we could do it.
And this is our first like guest episode of the refurbished Millennial Gaze. So thank you for being here. Me and Katie have been working hard, and we're gearing up to, you know, really like put in a lot of good work here. Definitely check out our Substack. Check out our Instagram, Millennial Gangsters 92.
I'm Gen X.
Yes, yeah. We still love y'all. But you know, we built a little different out here. But,
no, Gen X is different. We raised our damn selves. We can't.
That's true.
We trying to forget about y'all, but I
didn't have seatbelt.
Really do.
Okay, hot car. Open, stuck to the seat.
Guys.
They got to peel you off.
So tune in, see if May and I do our things. May's got May's studio. I've got Katie's Corner, and then we got our Millennial Gaze on Mondays. So
and we the people unite.
And we the people unite on Wednesdays and Fridays, and now they're adding a show for Keisha on Tuesdays. So
yeah.
And y'all need to think about a spot. Say extra. Okay, I'm done.
And please share, because me and Katie need to get to that 50. You feel me?
We got to 18, so we're getting there.
We on the way.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, we got a lot going on. So thank you guys so much for being here. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep an eye out for things to come. Keep it gangsta out there.